Hi there, I'm Ed Merrison from CellarHand. I'm here in the vineyard with Frédéric Blanck from Domaine Paul Blanck in Alsace, coming to visit us over here in Australia. And we're looking at Riesling, which of course we all love a great deal. But Freddie, I want to talk specifically about Alsace Riesling. It's the most important grape variety for your region?
For my region, it's probably the most important variety, but for our estate it is for sure. It's 35-40% of our production is based on Riesling.
Dry Riesling we're talking here?
Of course, we're talking dry Riesling.
Yeah.
Like Riesling should be more or less, should be always, yeah. But we have that opportunity to plant Riesling in our places, because also we have the right soils for that one. And for Riesling you don't need really a soil, you need a climate, and you need rocks, real rocky and poor soil. So we get that on the top of our hills. So we get also cooler climate on the top of the hills, and we are surrounded by hills. Good exposition, and well drained soil. So we got everything to grow the Riesling in perfect condition. That's why we grow them.
Now, of course, you've got lots of Riesling making friends all over the world.
Absolutely.
You like to have a good joke at the expense of your German neighbours, people in the CellarHand portfolio. But when we're talking about Alsace Riesling, obviously the dryness, I suppose, is a factor for the fact that it's so commonly dry. What other things do you think sort of mark out Alsace Riesling? Of course, you've mentioned how it's grown, but in terms of how it presents in the glass, how it looks, how it smells.
How it smells, how it looks, but the big particularity is because we get this freshness and this ripe acidity. Maturing Riesling in Alsace is not necessarily an easy thing, but it's quite easy compared to some other regions, because we get this long after season in September, where started generally mid-August, and then till end of September or first 2 weeks in October, you get what we call this Indian summer. So it's quite cool weather with nice temperatures, no rain, windy, so it keeps the grapes healthy, and it makes the grapes mature properly and regularly to the optimal point. So that's why we get this acidity, and it's for us very easy somewhere to make this dry style Riesling, or very dry, bone dry Rieslings, because the acidity is not over aggressive, so we don't have to mask this acidity. We get this perfectly mature acidity, what you can find in a very ripe citrus or very ripe grapefruit. So it's quite long on your palate, and it keeps you fresh and clean.
Yeah, I should say we're looking actually at the 2020 edition of this Paul Blanck Riesling, and yeah, I mean, I totally agree with that. I mean, I'd say in some senses it's not the Riesling sometimes that jumps out of the glass as aromatically sort of, I suppose, racy as zesty as some others you might find in Germany, but at the same time on the palate, as you say, you've got that lovely ripeness. Like, you get that idea of an Indian summer. You can almost taste that, beautifully ripened fruit here. It's sort of, some of the aromas sort of err into almost pineapple-y territory, but at the same time it's very citrusy, has this lovely firm stoniness to it, but then very, very soft, soothing acidity at the end, and lovely depth. It's great for sipping in a Hawaiian shirt in the height of summer on holiday.
Absolutely. Or with a few oysters or seafood or whatever you want to eat, you can accommodate with a Riesling.
Yeah, well, that's really delicious. That's the 2020 Paul Blanck Riesling from Domaine Paul Blanck, Frédéric Blanck from Alsace. Cheers, Freddy.
Cheers. I have stalked there.